All right. Hey, everybody. I am Jeremy Wicks, and my app is called Charter. It's an electron desktop application that can render a graph from a photo of a data set, like a chart. So if you're unclear what that means, here's some examples down here on the side. So basically, we have some components here. This is composed of a lot of jQuery code. There's no React here. It uses the Tesseract OCR, which is a character recognition library that's actually sponsored by Google, or at least it was at one point. I believe it still is. And also D3 to render out the information. It can do some. The Tesseract is a really great tool, but it does have some limitations, especially with handwriting recognition. But we try to account for that in a few ways that you'll see. So basically, we have a couple things here. We have the chart space. We have these data values that will come up. And then down here, you'll have like a real-time rendering of the photo you're looking at. That'll become more useful in a moment. We also have a camera here that you can turn on and off. So like right now, I don't want you guys to look at the underside of my chin, so I'll be turning the camera off. But yeah, let's see how this works. Let's go ahead, now that this is here, this is selected. This all comes from a PSemi file system where I just have some data preloaded. The cool thing about Electron is you can use FS, whereas with like a web application, you can't read things off of the user's file system. So let's go ahead and chart this one down here. It'll let us show off some more of the features. We have a loading screen. Tesseract takes a couple seconds to pull the characters out. But now you'll see you have this chart, and if you look down at this table, it's not really great. Like, a lot of that isn't what it's supposed to be. There's some noise in the data with those underlines, but it's easy to confuse Tesseract. But what I've done to alleviate that, I've actually made it so that you can make corrections here. So ARI, and then you can kind of tell that that little outlier dot on the side is ARI because and don't ask me what this data means, I don't actually know. You can tell that this is kind of out there because it's not reading it correctly, but if you change this to 31 and then enter it, it'll move the dot over in real time. Everything else here is pretty accurate. These labels aren't really correct, but they don't show up unless you click on it. So now we'll see there's our ARI with our 31 that we updated it with. That all updates in real time. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The text recognition I wish was a little more on point, but it's not really that big of a deal if you get the majority of the information there and then you can go in and update it as is. It really gives you the opportunity to do what you want with it. Now, and this is something that is a little bit more difficult, and I'm going to bring you guys in on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this paper, and I'm going to write out a chart, and then I'm going to take a photo of it and try to render that on the screen. I have this great black marker here, lots of contrast. So I want a survey of 3 people that have been to more than one country and have more than 0 siblings. So if that applies to you, please raise your hand. Wow. All right. So let's go Mike, Priya, Guichet on this. 1 second. Let me write these out. I got this here. Let's see. All right, Mike. What's how many countries have you been to?
Let's just say
10. 10? Good Lord. How many siblings do you have? 3. I don't know if you count. I'm not going to count that for this one. All right, Guichet. How many countries have you been to?
13.
13. All right. Well, now I feel terrible about myself, so at least we've accomplished something here. How many siblings do you have? 2. And Priya, how many countries have you been to?
Maybe around
14. Is this, raise your hand if you've been to less than 10 countries. All right, thanks, guys. And now how many siblings do you have? 1. Perfect. All right, so this data, it's not going to be a useful graph because these 2 things don't really have anything to do with each other. They might, but we're not going to get to the bottom of that today. All right, so let's pull up our camera. Let's adjust this. Let's hope the lighting is right because everything needs to be just about absolutely perfect to get this working. So let's snap our photo. I can already tell the axis is kind of off, so this might not work, but let's give it a shot. Hey, there we go. It's not that far off. I wish some of these were numbers, but we can go ahead and add that in. It might actually go off of the side, so this could be the wrap for this. Yeah, this is actually way off. But there it is. I mean, this is coming from the sheet of paper. And that well, it kind of works. That stuff didn't come from nowhere. All right, thanks, guys.